In today's video, I'm going to be covering the new way to run big budgets on Facebook ads. You see, the campaign structure that you use when you're just starting out and spending only a few $100s is very different than the campaign structure that you use when you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. So first things first, what do we consider a big budget with Facebook ads? Well, in my book, anything over $5,000 per day is considered a big budget, which is roughly around $150,000 per month that you would be spending on Facebook ads or more. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how to structure your campaigns for whenever you're ready to spend those kind of numbers and what the differences look like between high spending accounts and low spending accounts where people are spending anywhere between $150K all the way to $1 million plus per month on Facebook ads. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So here we are inside of the ads manager, and I'm going to show you what a typical structure looks like for a lot of people who are spending upwards of $300,000 in a week, $100K, $15,000 per day, even over $1 million in a single month in spend. Almost everyone's structure looks pretty identical, and that's because whenever you're pushing numbers like those, you want to have things very simple, scalable, and much easier to control at scale. So once you're inside of your ads manager, you hit create, and almost every campaign type that a high spending ad account is using is the sales campaign if they're optimizing for purchases, and they're using Advantage Plus shopping. And the reason for this is because they've already done lots of testing in their ad account, they've figured out what creatives have worked, and Advantage Plus really uses all of those insights and simplifies everything and does the targeting for them. They're no longer having to really test interests, they already know what audiences work, and Advantage Plus can look at their ad account history and optimize in the best way for them. And typically they really only have 2 campaigns, if not only 1 campaign, and it's an Advantage Plus, and then typically the other audience is just a broad audience with a stack of all the countries that they're targeting. Most high spending ad accounts also are usually going after multiple countries. And so typically their structure will be set up as an Advantage Plus in almost every situation at scale. And they're optimizing for purchases. And how they have it set up is where they're leaving all of the targeting open. The only difference is they're usually adding in a few more countries for their ad account because they're shipping out products all over the world, and they can handle much more growth whenever you're able to scale in multiple countries at the same time. And yes, these countries are typically all just stacked inside of this one campaign. And then their budgets are roughly set around $15,000 a day. Yes, you heard that right. People are spending $15,000 per day. Sometimes they're spending $100,000 per day in a single campaign. And then inside of the Advantage Plus campaign, you typically have ads that are recommended based off your ad account performance, but we're going to go ahead and skip that part and just go straight into how they're structuring their actual creative. And this is where things get very unique. They're using flexible, and this is a typical structure that you'll use at high spending ad accounts because this allows you to get way more creative testing done. You can have way more variations, and since you're spending high volume, typically you have double, 3 times, 10 times the number of creatives that most typical ad accounts have. Whenever you're just spending $1,000 to $3,000 per month, you might only have 10 to 25 creatives, whereas, an ad account spending $100,000 to $1 million per month, they're going to have hundreds of ad creatives. And when you only have one campaign type, you can only fit in 50 ads max inside of that audience. So how the structure is, they'll use flexible, so that way they can maximize the overall number of ad creatives that they have. So typically what we'll do is we'll come in here, we'll choose flexible whenever we're looking to push heavy spend, and then we'll add our media, which is images and videos. And you would just select 5 to 10 of these videos in a single ad. And we're able to get away with only running 1 ad, except we have upwards of 10 creatives cycling through on this dynamic Advantage ad campaign. So we have our campaign structure, and then we have just 1 ad with all of these videos. And then as we scroll down here, we would put in our product URL, and you would see that we have about 10 videos here. And then for the primary text, there's text option 1, and then we have another option. So this would be 2, 3, and we maximize all of these variations. So now we're testing multiple ad copy formats, multiple creative formats, and we're maxing out all of our options on the headlines as well. So you would fill in every single one of these headline options, every single primary text option to maximize the number of placements, Facebook's then going to use the flexible option to show which creative fits best with each primary text, headline, and description to be able to get you the best results. And what you want to do is whenever you're running a high spend campaign, you want to make sure all the media is related to one specific product, so that way your offer is very clear whenever it's cycling through. So you don't want to have a bunch of different products here. You want to make sure they're all the same throughout those videos, so that way you're only testing copy variations and creatives that actually go together. And then essentially, once you have all of these options fully filled in, what you can do is add a group. And this is where you can expand to having thousands of ads and be able to go from $100K to $300K to $500,000 per month in spend on your ad account. And all you do is hit add group, and this will group together that specific product set. And then you could have another group here, which is all images. So you could do all images, you could have a video group, you could have an image group, you could have a carousel group. And then what you can do is you can duplicate this, and you can now create another product that you're going to send to a different landing page for one of your other offers. And then that allows you to multiply hundreds of creatives and hundreds of ads when you're only capped at 50 inside of the Advantage Plus. This maximizes the overall number of testing and allows the algorithm to go at scale. And whenever you're spending those kind of budgets, you might say, well, how does it get through learning? Typically, learning will exit within the same exact day because you're spending so much, you're getting a ton of purchases. And because there's so much flow through of data, Facebook's able to optimize on its own and get you the best results possible. So most people are totally comfortable with starting their daily budget at $10,000 to $20,000 per day, because they already have their COGS figured out, which is their actual cost of goods sold. They know what their profit margin is, and they can put together all these ad creatives, launch them, and be good to go, and not really have too much optimizations to really do. Because when you're spending tens of thousands of dollars per day, you pretty much have the exact structure that you want to use. There's not 100 campaigns you're going through. There's not a ton of ads that you're turning on and off. Everything is pretty consolidated. So when you're spending a lot of money, your account structure goes from being wide, where you would typically see a lot of testing, a lot of creatives, which is good for smaller spend accounts. But when you're spending tens of thousands of dollars per day, you want to make sure that you just look at one campaign and can analyze everything in just one glance. Because if you have to go through all those campaigns, you could potentially miss out and make a mistake, be spending too much on the wrong ad, whereas just one Advantage Plus will get the job done for you. So this is the exact structure that these high spend ad accounts are using. And on each of these groups, you can actually use different unique URL links. And so this allows you to fully optimize and test what's going to work best and truly scale up. And then the other campaign structure is just simply a broad audience. That's typically just a sales, and then it's a manual sales campaign. It's a broad audience, there's no targeting, and it's all their countries selected. It's just a stack of countries. Very similar structure. The only difference is now you can just test specific variations if you have a promotional offer. So you might be launching a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale, where you could launch it in here, scale it up with that specific ad creative, and you might not have a lot of variations. So this is where you would use your single images, or maybe this is your best performing ad and you already know it works at scale. So you're not gonna really have a lot of variations. You're just gonna have your core ads that you know perform, where you're spending $5,000 to $10,000 per day in this campaign. And whenever you're looking at these ad accounts, it's pretty much just 1 to 2 campaigns every single time, because the big spenders know that these campaign structures work. And so that's really how you would set up, a high spend, big budget ad account to be able to perform at scale, maintaining 3, 5, 2x ROAS, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. So if you're interested in learning more or working with myself and team on how you can be able to scale your Facebook ads to bigger budgets and be able to maintain a very profitable ROAS at scale, where you're doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars per month with your ads, or even on TikTok ads, your viral organic marketing methods, how to optimize your website, then definitely make sure to book a call with myself and team, and we'll work with you one-on-one and show you exactly what you need to do to be able to get there. And once again, it's your favorite digital marketer here, Chase Chappell. Cheers and bye all.